Hi, I'm Emily and I'm a 5 times finisher of the Lakeland 100. Today I'm going to be talking to you about your drop bag. I could just do a generic video about drop bags for any ultramarathon, but I think the Lakeland 100 being such a different race, considering where it is, just the time of day that you might get into Dalemain, the things that you might want to carry with you for this type of ultramarathon, I thought I'd do one specific to this race. It does say in the Lakeland 100 race notes that the size of the drop bag is limited. There's no specific size, but in my experience, something around the size of a generic rucksack is probably a maximum. Any bigger than that, a big holdall, something like that is probably going to be too big. Basically, don't take the piss. The drop bags are transported from Coniston. You drop off your drop bag in Coniston just before the start of the Lakeland 100, and they are transported to Dalemain Estate. When you reach Dalemain, a lovely volunteer will pick up your drop bag and bring it over to you, and when you're finished with your drop bag and you put everything back in it, that volunteer will take it, add it back to the pile to go back to Coniston, and then you can pick up your drop bag on the Sunday morning after you finish the race, hopefully. So let's just imagine I've run the first 59 miles of the Lakeland 100, I've got into the Dalemain Checkpoint, and a lovely volunteer has brought me over my drop bag. Now the first thing that I like to do actually is look at the instructions that I have written myself. Normally I type these up and laminate them just to make myself feel a bit more organised. I found it really helpful to have a little list of things that I have to do in the Dalemain Checkpoint so that I keep on track, so that I have a plan, I know what I'm doing, and I don't forget to do anything or forget to take anything with me when I leave. So the first thing that I'm going to do when I get to Dalemain is charge my phone and my watch. So I've got all my electrical stuff in here, and what I will have is a battery pack, some charging cables for my watch and my phone, which are probably low on battery, so I will plug those in to give myself the maximum amount of charging time for those things. The next thing that I will do is give myself a bit of a wet wipe wash and to put any fresh clothes on that I want. So I like to take a full change of clothes to Dalemain. I have a full change of everything: underwear, sports bra, top, shorts, and then I also have some leggings in there if the weather's turned and it's looking like it's going to be colder for the rest of the Saturday and into the Sunday morning. I might put my leggings on, and I also have a spare hat, gloves and buff, so that the ones that I've packed in my race pack, which we packed in another video, if they've got wet or they're a bit stinky, they're just a bit uncomfortable, I've got fresh ones here that I can take with me and replace my old ones in my pack. It's worth noting that at Dalemain there isn't a set changing area for you to go and get changed in. There are portaloos, you can go and have a bit of privacy if you want to have a full change of clothes, wipe yourself over with a wet wipe, get fresh clothes on. If not, you can of course strip off to some extent and get changed in the checkpoint. Nobody really cares, but I appreciate that for some people having that privacy might be nice. So you can head over to the portaloos with your clothes and get changed in the portaloos. So next on my list is to sort out my feet. So those of you that have watched my kit packing video will know that I've put a rudimentary kind of foot kit in my running pack, which is made up of basically just dry socks and some squirrel's nut butter and anything else I might need to look after my feet. What I do at Dalemain is I pack a second one of those and I will swap them over when I get to Dalemain. I'll take out any wet smelly socks that I've got in my bag and I'll replace them with this foot kit, which again has got in it spare socks, some more squirrel's nut butter, and this has also got in it a dry flannel, which I'm actually just going to use to give my feet a really good dry off when I'm at Dalemain. What I'll do at Dalemain is I'll probably dry my feet off and do anything I've got to do to them. I don't tend to pop any blisters, but I'll look at all my feet, see what I've got to do, give them a good wipe and a dry off, and then let them air out and have some time out of shoes and socks for a little while I do number 5 on my list, which is to eat. At Dalemain, by this point, a volunteer will have probably asked you if you want something to eat, a cup of tea or coffee to drink, and they will bring it over. And at this point, I'll probably take a break from doing stuff with my drop bag, quickly have something to eat before I move on to the next things. Next on my list is to brush my teeth. So I will have a very basic wash bag in my drop bag. I'll brush my teeth, which feels so nice. After 59 miles of just eating sweets and sugary drinks, it's really nice, really refreshing to give your teeth a good brush. Some deodorant, some insect repellent and some more sun cream. If the Saturday's looking sunny or it is already sunny, slap some more sun cream on just to make sure that you don't get sunburn. At this point, I will take a moment to just check I have got everything in my pack that I want, take out anything that I no longer need, remembering that you do obviously have to carry the mandatory kit for the whole duration of the race, but I will take out any wet clothes that I don't need anymore, any wet socks, and also any rubbish that might be lying in my pack. I'm one to often find the odd peanut butter sandwich in my pack about 2 weeks after a race, so I might take this opportunity at Dalemain to empty all the pockets of any rubbish that I've got in there, any gel wrappers, before we start the rest of the race from Dalemain. I'll then put on my socks before I pack them back into my bag, and replacement shoes. Now, 4 out of the 5 times I've done the Lakeland 100, I have changed shoes at Dalemain. The final time, I actually ended up just putting the same shoes back on. They were super, super comfy, so you don't always have to change your shoes. I always put a spare set of shoes in my drop bag. You might like to put them half a size bigger. It's up to you. Decide what is best for you and for your feet. I always put a spare pair of shoes in there, but you don't have to use them if you don't want to. So I've repacked all my kit, got rid of any rubbish, put my shoes and socks on, and then I've picked up my watch and my phone and unplugged the charger and put that all back in my drop bag. And then the last thing that I tend to do is pick up an extra layer. Now, you might like to just pick up a fleece or an extra base layer or something that's going to keep you warm on the Saturday night. I tend to always take a Paramo in my drop bag. This is kind of a super lightweight but warm and waterproof jacket. This doesn't actually meet the kit check requirements for a waterproof, so I will still take my waterproof that I started with, that I went through kit check with, so I still got that in my pack, but I normally take this with me as well because on the Saturday night, personally, I can tend to get quite cold, particularly if it starts chucking it down. That's everything that I like to pack in my drop bag for the Lakeland 100. I actually recorded that video yesterday. Just when I've started to edit it, I've realised that I've left out a couple of things, but I've already kind of ransacked my drop bag to go running later today, so I'm just going to add them in. The first one is that I will normally pick up some nutrition at Dalemain, so I might put in a couple extra sandwich bags full of things like gels or chews or something that I know I might be able to eat at that point, and something that will help sustain me for the rest of the race. I'll still be picking up food and drink from the checkpoints, but it's just to make sure that I know I've got the calories in my bag to sustain me for that last section. Now, another thing that I don't tend to use, but a lot of people do, including my husband, are poles. So my husband will be starting with these black diamond poles in his pack when he runs the Lakeland 100 this year. Some people might not like to start with them. They might like to put them in their drop bag and pick them up at Dalemain. So it's really, really up to you. If you use poles and you use them already and you're used to using them, then I think they can be something that, yeah, you can either start with or have waiting for you in your drop bag. And let's face it, the drop bag really is totally up to you. It's up to you whether you use it. Some people I know don't even like to use the drop bag at all. But I think it's a good idea to consider the things that you might like or want or need when you get to Dalemain, and the things that will help push you through and onto the finish line of the Lakeland 100. Hopefully that's given you some food for thought as to things that you want in your drop bag, and also how to keep yourself organised for when you get to Dalemain. If you like this video, please press like and subscribe.